Hello, and welcome to Euphoria and Three-City Revamp, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play set in the tri-border region between the European cities of Aachen in Germany, Liège in Belgium, and Maastricht in the Netherlands. We're here to tell a story of vampires claiming their own spaces where others have left thrones vacant that wait to be filled. My name's Markus. Pronouns are he, him. I am a Caucasian male with a beard, dark hair, and wearing a button up shirt today. And I'm accompanied by four other fantastic individuals who are about to embark on this dark vampiric story. And I'm just gonna pass it around the table, starting with Toto.
Hi, I am Toto. Pronouns are she, they. I am Southeast Asian and I'm wearing glasses, a white blouse, and a pearl necklace. And today I will be playing Chang. Chang's pronouns are she, her, and I'm excited for you to get to know her.
Fantastic. Krifu, hello.
Hi, I'm Krifu Bernal. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a white dude whose vampire foundation doesn't match the tan I developed over the summer. So I had to bring it down pretty down far on the neck, with dark brown hair and a dark brown goatee as well.
Glad to have you here. Aida.
Hello, my name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a Latin woman of color. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair. I'm wearing a black blazer and a satiny top with a necktie. And I am based in the Netherlands.
Glad to have you here. And last but certainly not least, Jen. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me. My name is Jen Vaughn. My pronouns are she, they. I am a white gal with collarbone length black hair, dark eyes, what I like to call graveyard lips, a mixture of red and black. And I am wearing a black floral, like a Bali esque midriff shirt. And I will be playing Josette, whose pronouns are also she, they.
Fantastic. We're going to be meeting all of these characters in a moment before we go into the story. But before we go into the Three-City Revamp, a word of warning. Vampire the Masquerade is a game with adult themes and topics. We are portraying characters who are vampires, have to consume the blood of the living, and who are not always morally correct, to say the least. This game also features violence, strong language, blood, psychological horror, body horror, manipulation, and ghosts. If at any point during this game you have to step away, please do so. Your safety is important. And whenever you're ready to come back, we'll be here so you can continue the story with us. Now, Kindred, how about we start this story of the Three-City Revamp? In the city of Aachen, there once lived a monster. The people of the city chased it, cornered it, and then killed it. When the monster was no more, its blood having soaked the cobblestones and the memory of it already fading, the people forgot to fear the night. No longer did they tell warning tales, but turned them into nursery rhymes and endearing folklore. There was no more monster, and if one would return, surely they would find it, corner it, and kill it too. What was there to fear anymore? Well, in the city of Aachen, there are still monsters. And this is their story. Aachen is the city where we find ourselves on this early October. Night has fallen, and a gentle bit of drizzle of rain is falling in the heart of the city. Lanterns reflect on the bronze statue of a strange creature that the people of Aachen call the Barkauf. A creature of legend that once stalked these streets and is now a beautiful fountain. Water splashing from it onto the stones beneath it, houses and shops surrounding this little monument to this terror that once lurked. In one of these houses, on the 4th floor, we find our coterie in an apartment that sure was not meant to hold as many people as there are currently here. The entire apartment has the vibe of that of a bachelor living alone for the first time, functional in its decors. Just a table to have dinner on, a few mismatched chairs, but in what constitutes a combination of the living room and bedroom, one corner is occupied by a large desk, 3 screens, a big, pretty expensive microphone, and fancy, funky RGB lighting. And seated on the luxury gamer chair is a hooded figure, about 1.80 meters tall, wearing torn up jeans, but torn up in the fashionista way. Not because they were torn from use, no, because they're torn for style. A dark hoodie, the hood pulled up, and the hood so large, it covers most of the face. Shadow covering eyes and nose and only revealing the lower jaw. And that is skin covered in wounds and scars and teeth that look like that of a shark. Just more teeth than any human jaw should ever hold. This man, this member of Clan Nosferatu, is known to all of you as Holger Müller. And he's the reason you're here. He's sitting in his expensive gamer chair, turned towards you, and says, well, I'm glad you could all make it. This is very important business that we have to discuss. I think you're all well aware of the complications we find ourselves in.
I mean, go ahead and remind us, just in case maybe we slept funny during a very sunny day. Says
Is
Josette.
what Josette says. Josette, would you like to describe what the camera sees as it swivels towards you?
Yes, Josette is a mid-20s looking female with shoulder length brown hair, like half pulled up, and in a like a olive jacket with little epaulets and a couple pins on it, and very dark, almost cargo pants tucked into tall boots. She's a little buff. She looks like she could win a couple rounds of a game that I'm forgetting the name of. Arm wrestling. Yeah, sorry.
Well, We're missing most of the kindred that inhabited the city. We know what happened to some of them, and it's still a mystery what happened to others. We have to be careful. If someone doesn't do something quick, it's not just going to be Aachen that's going to be in trouble. It's going to be this entire area, and I think none of you want that to happen.
How much trouble? What
We
what does that trouble mean?
Holger turns towards Chang. Chang, could you describe what we see as you speak up?
Chang is a Southeast Asian woman who seems to be either in the late 20s, early 30s. It's hard to tell, as it is sometimes of Asian women. And she seems to be mostly disinterested in what is going on until Holger said that there could be issues arising, for her especially.
Very big issues. Look, we didn't get here because there weren't any issues before here, but now we have an opportunity to fix any issues that were made in the past and, maybe most importantly, put some other people into the decision-making seats.
Well, why did you need to have to call everyone else? Just me would have sufficed.
Yes, I
Holger,
agree. Just she would have enough.
Holger smirks. Grietje, would you like to tell us what we look at?
Grietje is a middle-aged woman, appears to be in her 30s, tan skin, dyed brown hair, very expensive looking clothing on, very well manicured and groomed, sitting on one of the mismatched bar stools, I imagine, but you can clearly see a handkerchief is folded underneath her, separating her very expensive pants from wherever this bar stool has been or seen.
While I admire your confidence, Grietje, you shouldn't underestimate the complexity of the situation. Well, I mean, I even got to invite Peter, and he gestures at Peter.
Peta is a tall and slender young man, early to mid 20s, pale, with like very shiny light brown hair done in a coif, clean shaven. Although, between you and me, he has to clean shave the stubble off his face every night. And he's probably standing near the mics, sort of looking at the setup that he's got here. And then as soon as you say his name, he looks up. Holger, are these USB microphones? You really should switch to XLR.
If you could see Holger's eyes, they would probably be rolling at this point. And he says, see, this is exactly the reason that shows how desperate I am. I'm inviting this smartass over here. Well, to elaborate, you all know we've been hit hard by some of these mortals who think that they figured our entire deal out, and most of our leadership is gone, or gone or replaced. I don't know if you heard about what's happening over in Liège, there in Belgium. It's the Anarchs trying to get a grip on the situation, but between us here, when did Anarchs ever get a grip on anything? Then here in Aachen, our own prince was found burnt in our haven. Burnt. All the ashes just scattered to the wind. Well, between us here, not that I have much of a broken heart for her, so I'm not saying she was the best employer, but
I mean, the way I understand, your heart doesn't work anyway.
see, this is the kind of approach we need. A little bit of humor in these dire situations without neglecting
Who's
how
being
dire it is.
serious?
But there's one final mystery that remains. Caspar Hoyers, the Prince of Maastricht. Oh, there's also not much love lost between you and him, Grietje?
He owes me money.
Owes you money?
Well, your prices are quite high, creature. Josette sends like a knowing, like wink.
Well, if he is gone, does that mean I can go in there?
Well, see, that's the thing. You all know that Maastricht was kind of like a pretty exclusive situation. Caspar sticking to his own coterie, not allowing anyone else to go in there, go hunting, drinking, and claiming domain there. We don't even know where the rest of his bloody coterie is. But I might have found a little bit of a clue. Have a little bit of information. I've put my beautiful ears to the ground, and I heard the whispers, the word on the street, to say. And I might have an idea where Caspar has gone. And I want to offer you a role in this grand plan to retrieve the last remaining prince of the 3 cities, and then also having the chance to decide what to do with him.
Dear, tell us.
Well, I have heard that Caspar has one of his havens not too far from Aachen, just across the Dutch border. Tiny village, though, very beautiful countryside. And it is in a location that might be pretty interesting to Grietje. It's actually in a church. Quite some interesting neo-Gothic art there, I have heard. I need a few reliable, and by reliable I mean none of these either the anarchs from Liège or Hannes and his roving band of gangrels to get over there and see if the rumors were correct. Check in if you can find this secret haven, and perhaps also find Prince Hoyers there. Then, if you find him, and you either find him in some dire situation and potentially save him, he owes you something, but you would also owe me something for giving you this clue.
Does Sinti already own Grietje? Oh, something? What's the hot?
He won't be very pleased to see me, as I have recently sold him a painting, and it is quite valuable, but he has yet to pay me. Maybe he's just embarrassed.
He seems to be embarrassed enough to run from the city he ruled and seemed to have a pretty good grip on.
Maybe our thoughts about his leadership were not what they appear to be. Anyway, you propose a interesting suggestion and recommendation that I will consider.
Well, and Josette sort of unzips her jacket, feeling a little hot. You can see a little vacation wear popping out, little floral outfit. As you may not remember, I am on a vacation, and so I can go poke around. Been meaning to hunt again a little, not that way, but like that way. So if Gotcha is too busy, so busy, I mean.
You have picked a rather interesting time to get on vacation here, especially considering, what some people would say about you, Josette, about your past.
I mean, I'm pretty much well, what do they say in the setups like the one you're in? I've 100%ed it, almost. So,
I think
I
they
hope.
call it success pilled. Thank you for trying to speak my
Oh,
language.
you know.
I don't know any of these words.
And for the record, I will do what benefits me, not because someone has told me to do so or has commanded I do otherwise. Your information is valuable and that is taken into consideration.
I think it is best for all of us to find Prince Caspar. Or, I mean, he commanded quite a bit of respect in these parts, and to have his authority back in the region might help settle things.
I will find him because I will not let a slight against me like this stand.
I don't really care who is prince, but I would like to go into his private library.
Well, sounds like most of you have good reasons to try and find him then. Look, I cannot promise you any of those. I cannot make promises for Prince Caspar, but I'm just gonna give you the coordinates where you might find him.
Thank you, Holger.
Are you sure you want to thank me yet?
No,
That's what I thought.
It's not as if anyone else is offering advice or making plans to move this place forward after the awfulness that has happened.
It is rather depressing to think about it, right? We've had such terrible things befalling us, and no one seems to be stepping up to pick up the slack.
I, for one, respect your decision to call us here tonight, Holger.
Oh shit, finally someone who does. I can give you the instructions to how to get there. This time of day, you can try to get there by public transport, but I would not advise it. You can borrow my car if you need to, but I'm assuming that all of you are in a position where you would have your own transportation.
Depends on what kind of car you have.
Oh, I call my car Leo. It's a very reliable, but a rather old Volkswagen. Some people say it's a little outdated. I call it a classic.
Volkswagen, no thank you.
Sorry, but not everyone here is fitting in my Caprio.
as long as I get to sit in the front, I'm okay. I get car sick in the back.
Well, good thing my car doesn't have a back. The information, please.
He pulls up, which you would expect in these day and age that he would just send you a link to some kind of Google Maps situation. But Holger has actually printed out the driving directions,
Oh,
like old school, the
What did
just
the children
Is
call
this
this? The
MapQuest? MapQuest. Yeah. Thank you, Glutcha. I'm glad someone else here is as shocked as we. I mean, I am maybe the oldest one here, but whew.
look, I don't like it more than any others, but I think some of the vampires who got dusted were onto something when they said to be very careful with some of this modern technology. If I give you direct GPS data to where you're going, well, I don't know who else we're going to be showing up there. And
Okay,
yes,
but
some people like MapQuest, Josette.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't.
Thank you. John. I'm just saying these are also. It's one-sided. You could have printed on the back. Like you have to think about your carbon footprint. Some of us will be here for a very long time. Thank you.
None of us care about the oxygen. Look, we can have the discussion once you find out if Hoyas is actually at that place. But I have to tell you, you're going to a pretty small village in the middle of the night. Be a bit careful. Try to blend in. this is one of the reasons I don't go there. I have a little bit look. If they see a hooded figure like me walking around there, they're gonna be calling the police immediately.
Have you
And
seen me? I don't blend in.
well,
Even when I was still not this.
well, yes, but and you see that Holger like slightly pulls back the hoodie a little bit, and you can see that there's just where there should be a nose, there's a gaping hole, and you are pretty sure that you just saw something crawl away under his skin before he pulls the hood back on again. Some of us have a really hard time with this.
And like if the camera pans to Peter, like you can see he's having a really hard time with it. But trying to be polite.
And failing. Face.
The effort is there.
Mhm. I do have a Congo, so with extra seats in the back, so
No
I
back.
can fit.
Chang, you can ride with me.
Then
Then
I will go
Holger,
before
fine
Sam.
avond, good evening, bye. You hear just heels click, click, click as Gritje just spins and starts walking through the door. She has absolutely left her handkerchief on the bar stool. She's not taking it back.
Chang follows, like, ciao.
See you there.
So Chang is going to ride with Grietje, and are Peter and Josette taking their own modes of transportation there? Or
No, Josette,
carpooling?
if I may,
No, we
I
would
would,
carpool. Yeah.
I would definitely ride with you. My car would be much safer here, I suppose.
Well, and it's one way to
morning.
think about the carbon footprint in that way.
Mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
that certainly helps.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
nodding when you said that. He was like,
Yeah, no, I'm.
I
Josette is
was
excited
totally
to see this
thinking about
2-seater
that.
hot rod show up to this tiny town to blend in. So
We are totally blending in.
All right. So the coterie leaves this apartment, going out into the night where the drizzle has turned into full-blown rain at this point. You find your ways to your modes of transportation and follow slowly the directions that were given to you by Holger. You leave behind the city of Aachen. You were pretty much in the center of it, not far from the cathedral, which is beautifully lit at night. And soon, after just about 15 minutes of driving, you're out on the roads to the signs that point you towards the Netherlands. The transition across the border is smooth. Nothing except the signs tells you that you have left one country and moved into another.
Oh, you think later we're gonna have to drive into Loke? Gritje, right, says to Chang. Well, you would have noticed anyway. The book would have gone flying out of your hands as soon as we crossed the country borders.
I don't know this word.
Welke? Which?
I think it's not the language I know yet. Okay. Do you have sticky notes?
No, I do not have the sticky notes.
Okay, are we there yet?
Almost.
Josette, what kind of car are you driving?
it's a Congo, so it's like a white van that usually has like some wooden shelves put in there for tools, and there's some big locks on those areas. But then she's fitted for extra people to sit in because usually it only fits 2. So
Okay.
you see them all over the place. So that just kind of looks. There's a no sign on the side or anything, but it's a pretty inconspicuous vehicle.
Okay.
But it's definitely not as fast. So they are. We can see Gratche's lights in the distance, and Josette goes, you can change the music if you want. Whatever you need.
He immediately just like begins flipping through like super fast. The songs barely have 3 seconds to play before he's like skipping to the next one. Josette, you are I think we have different definitions of holiday.
Mm.
If this is what you are doing on vacation.
Well, no, I've been working at Librairie Pax in Liège, the bookstore. It's been very nice because I love, j'adore la lire. I love to read, and it's I haven't been able to read very much for the last 40 years. Always on the go. So it's
Mm-hmm.
been very nice, but I think I'm bored. So, what about you? You seemed very what's the word? Willing to sit in a certain seat of power, like a throne.
Yes, it's not quite that strong, but Aachen is my home, and
Mhm.
I want to make sure that it stays safe. And if Prince Caspar can bring back that Sicherheit, that safety for us, then I suppose it is our duty to find him.
I agree with most of it, but not the D word. But yes,
Responsibility?
there it is. Yes.
Okay. Yes, I've met some humans who are averse to duty.
Peter, do you have a phone on you?
Yes.
Okay. While you're talking with Josette, you feel your phone vibrating in your pocket.
Okay. I'll pull it out. The brightness is turned all the way down. Typically,
Mhm.
that's the first thing he does in the evening.
Mhm.
And we'll kind of look at it down here.
Shows Emmanuel is calling.
You can take it. I'm fine. I'll not listen.
No, I think it might be best to.
What if something's happening to your car?
He like hesitates and then goes to answer it. Hello, Schatz.
Peter, I was just wondering how are things? How are you? I haven't heard from you in a while.
It has been very busy lately. In fact, I'm working on a job for the family at the moment.
Is it a dangerous job?
No, of course not. It's just going to speak with some people and do the same thing I do in my day job.
Oh, okay. Liebling, love. I just had this feeling I had to call you, and just wanted to check in. But just call me later tonight, okay?
I will try. I will send you an SMS, if not.
Wow, you're always so old-fashioned, Peter.
You know why.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hear from you.
Dann
Hab dich lieb.
tschüss.
And like
Peter
for a
hangs up.
moment, Peter, would you be the one to hang up first?
Yeah, I think he would. As soon as he says tschüss, he quickly
Yeah.
hits the button and puts it back in his pocket.
After a while, both of the cars arrive in a small village going by the name of Weilen. The village is, speaking in Dutch terms, situated on a hill. But the Dutch call something that's 150 meters high a hill. It also has a church that lies on the highest hill in this village. And with an impressive 190 meters above sea level, it is the highest located church in the Netherlands. Surrounding this little quaint neo-Gothic church is a small town. Some of these buildings here are old farmhouses that, through the years and through the decades even, have been renovated step by step. Originally, some of these might have been places where blacksmiths and farmers have lived, but now they are used as bed and breakfasts, private homes, and some pretty good restaurants. The streets of this quaint little village are illuminated by old fashioned lanterns. At least they're designed to look old fashioned, but the lamps in them are still LED. The old is here, but the new is woven into it. This village, at this time of night, at approximately 8 in the evening, it's quiet outside. The only sound coming from the cars, your 2 cars pulling up to the location, to a little side alley not far from this church. You park your cars, the engines turning off, and the coterie once again reunited. The rain has stopped at this point, but there's still quite some puddles in between the mostly cobblestone streets here. So those of you with fancy footwear might want to be a little bit careful.
Good stain in these fucking stones everywhere.
This seems okay. Rain at home was worse.
Get used to it living here.
You know, I have another set of boots in my Congo if you want, Gretchen. They're your size.
I do not think they are my size.
You don't know who I run with. It's okay. Maybe you'll change your mind depending on how dirty we have to get.
The final instructions on these printed out directions from, well, MapQuest, as we've established, lead you to a house just across the street from this quaint little church. It is probably the outer walls of this house are dating all the way back to the 1800s. But you can see that windows have been modernized. There's some pretty well-kept little garden out front. But there are no lights on in the house at this point. And this is the address that you're being led to. Closed house, no lights on, but potentially the place where the Prince of Maastricht might be hiding.
Somehow I feel knocking would not be the smartest.
Well, following some books, it says those are vampires only allowed to go inside if they are let inside. Of course, that is not true, but it is very interesting how this actually come to be. If we used to go all the way back, they also thought the vampires would steal your vitae from your grave.
Mm.
I don't know anyone who would do that.
Josetta is
We could
touching
try.
stones around the door to see. Sorry, I assume the building's made out of stone, but trying to see if there's something loose. I mean, like, humans since the beginning of time have also just kept spare keys in, planters and things. So maybe we can let ourselves in somehow.
Josette, glad you're doing this. Do you have any books, magazines, or other texts on you?
Of course she does. She's got a copy of Aidan Thomas's The Sunbearer Trials.
Some good vacation reading, I've heard.
Mhm.
As you're touching around these stones, most of them, like these outer walls, most of these stones are just uneven, adding to this really old school vibe of the building. And as you touch around, you must have let your book loose in your jacket or in your pocket or whatever, It falls out on the wet ground. And as you flip it over, you see that there are water drops on some words on the page. And they read a sentence of do not open basement.
My book is telling me that we should not open the basement. Just so you know. Once we're inside. Or if there's a storm cellar type of door. So, thank you.
Does your book tell you why?
How?
No, that's not how it works. This is a bibliomancy, specifically through banned books in mostly in the United States. I don't know why, but I guess they have the largest library of banned
We
books.
all know why.
And our Netherlands, what a weird country.
Wait, yes, yeah. So it sometimes just tells me things, and they are 95% true. So unless something is labeled, it could be though that the attic is named basement as well. So if there's a sign that says basement, just don't open that door.
Is this connected to ghosts? Or do you use some other kind of entity to read this? Is the
No,
book
ghosts
sentient?
Chang, ghosts aren't real.
No, you are wrong.
Grietje goes to tap the doorknob before seeing if it can be turned.
You tap the doorknob, and
As long as I'm not like electrocuted or anything else, I'm going to try to turn the knob.
try to turn it, but the door is locked.
Now, anyone here have any skills to enter a door?
As the four of you are standing in front of this house,
always a door.
It is.
How about we have our first set of rolls of this game? Could all of you give me a wits plus awareness roll? We're going to make some dice pools and see if your characters, if any of you or many of you perceive something. Perceive things that are not spelled out by a banned book that fell into water. Oh, wow.
I think I have a modifier.
No modifiers.
Yeah.
Josette and Peter. While the four of you have been standing in front of this door, the two of you notice that the neighbor's house had its lights go on, and peeking past the curtains, there's a curious-looking older man who seems to be interested in what's going on right now. Who dares to be out in the dark in this village?
Josette immediately does the arm lean onto the brick and like leans in to Pietro and goes, just just get real close. Don't touch me though. Put your hand on my back.
Peter's
Put your
holding an
hand.
umbrella, so he just kind of like leans in and
Mhm.
starts sharing the umbrella with you.
You saw them too, right? I saw you. I saw your eyes.
Yes. These village folk
Mhm.
have nothing better to do at night.
Yeah. Josette kicks up a little foot like, oh.
We should move soon. We might have nosy neighbors or worse, police.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, maybe we could just go right under the window. Be quiet. They can't see us. Or should we try going around to the back? See if there's a back entrance.
That might be less obvious. So he kind of looks up to where Grietje is at the front door. Let's try around back, he says a little bit more loudly.
Nou goed then, let's go.
Okay.
There's a little It's a little path that indeed leads to the back. And this house has a nice little garden behind it. There's a little bench in the garden. Someone must have been taking care of the hortensias and a bunch of other flowers. The storyteller does not know what they're called. And it's well kept. The grass is cut short, and there is indeed a back door that leads into that seems to be leading into the living room. But there is also at the back a big trapdoor, storm cellar like door to open.
Well, well. I mean,
This is the one they say not to open. The book?
Yes, that is correct.
I want to open it.
To be fair, the book could have been just talking to me, and everyone else can go in. But
Can you ask again? Hey, book. Can I go in?
Storyteller, may I use my premonition to try to get something else from this book?
Absolutely. You can try, but since this would be as you're consciously trying to get a premonition from it, you have to do a rouse check to see if using this will increase your hunger.
I knew that was going to be my. All right. Click.
So in the character,
Okay.
oh,
All right, that's fine.
that is our first rouse check failure, which means your hunger goes from 1 to 2. Just to explain it to our viewers, all our vampires will have a hunger between 1 and 5. It's better to be on the lower side of the hunger than on the higher side, because the more hunger you have, the more dice in your dice pool will be replaced with hunger dice. And those hunger dice can lead to bestial failures and messy criticals. Those bring drama and complications. But for now, Josette, you channel again onto your book, The Sunbearer Trials, looking for more clues. You flip through the pages, and as you look around through your book, you don't find anything in the book, but your eyes dart to a place right next to that cellar door. And you see there's a pamphlet that lies on the ground. A pamphlet for an art exhibition like a week ago or something here in town. Some kind of small artist who has been running a little exposition. Most of it is damaged, but for some reason, someone underlined words on this pamphlet. And the words are rest, eternal, past, rests.
Bien, bien, bien. De recyclage. Well, some recycling. She picks it up and she. Oh. She takes it over back to the group, especially to Chong, who she knows is also book centric as well, and word. A friend of words, and goes, check this out. It seems someone was. Do you think this is code of some kind?
I know many cultures have very distinct funeral rites. And I would love to know which one this is, and if I can find it out more about it, it would be great. Can I have it?
The pamphlet? I mean, yes, of course.
Sharon takes the pamphlet and seems to have forgotten that we actually wanted to go to the basement and just trying to figure out if there is like a certain deeper meaning or if this refers to a certain rite from a certain culture or a cult, and is kind of concentrating on that right now.
I will say that as you're holding and waving it around, she's looking at it. She goes, "I'm sorry, Pietro, how do you spell your name again?"
mine? Peta?
Yes.
Peter.
Oh, so it's a little funny that this pamphlet in the middle of nowhere has sort of underlined words that make an acrostic of your name. Rest, eternal, the past, rest.
Rest. Oh, rest. Yeah. That's not a P.
Well, no, I mean sorry, it's not an address. It's you have to shift them around a bit.
Past.
Did you know that not all cultures actually bury the dead?
How is any of this discussion leading us to find the cut prince? This fucking prince.
Oh, you're right. It is missing a second E.
Forgot about that.
So while they were doing that, perhaps Peter and Gritcha checked the back door, see if that was also locked, which it probably is.
It is locked, but this one, with a little bit of force, you might be able to force it open.
Macra, open. Go ahead, open it.
Me? Okay, fine, I will try. It's a little wiggly. Can we say strength and athletics?
That makes total sense. Yes.
Because it's not going to get any better than that.
Use your sharpened tongue to open this door.
Try.
Two, difficulty
Yes.
2? Okay.
Difficulty 2.
Oh, not a critical, but 2 successes.
2 successes indeed on a total of 3 dice on that roll.
Yeah.
What does it look like when you force open this door?
So
Oh,
he's
no.
holding the. Oh, sorry, Kalicha.
Come now. Get up. Today.
So he just kind of like looks at her, hands her the umbrella that he's holding,
Mm.
and then like puts both hands on the doorknob and just with a like pushes through the flimsy wooden frame of this back door. I'm imagining like French doors, even though
Yeah,
we're
that
in
makes
the
yeah,
Netherlands.
exactly. That's a great way to put it. And yeah, you apply the force in the right place, push open that door, you hear a bit of a cracking sound, and you're now halfway into what looks like probably the living room of this place, but all the furniture here is covered in these big blankets, like these big moving blankets. And tarps, exactly. And
Quickly, everyone, please.
there is
He beckons.
a layer of dust on most of these. There hasn't been anyone in here in this room specifically in a long time.
Creature walks in and quietly but still calls out, Lieve prinsje. Oh, my dear prince. Where are you? Your Grietje is here to see you and collect what you owe her. Prinsje.
Money.
Prinsje. Like testing the doors. You hear the creak of the hinges open. Oh, Prinsje.
I'd like to activate my heightened senses and see if I hear any response to this.
Perfect. Using your Auspex heightened senses.
Mhm.
So you tune in to anything. And Peter, the moment you turn that on, Grietje's beckoning sounds a bit louder. And especially when Chang like also shouts money, like for a moment there's like this sting in your ears as it's a little bit louder than it usually is. But you don't pick up a response to the calls from Grietje. But with your heightened senses, you hear something happening at the front door outside.
Oh, fuck.
You pick up, still a bit muffled, but with your Auspex, you can make out words. You hear 2 different voices. One of them sounds to come from a bit of an older man who's speaking, like you have to really concentrate because this man is speaking in a fairly thick local dialect, which is this hodgepodge of German and Dutch with like a few French words scattered in there. And those French words are pronounced completely incorrectly.
Right.
And you but the gist that you get is that this old person is saying just no, we've had it with you visitors here, just leave us alone here. There's nothing about this. And then you hear a younger voice responding to it. Um, but starting out in dialect, the same similar dialect, but also then switching over to Dutch and saying, like, sir, listen, look, my my YouTube followers, they just want to know what's going on here. And there's been these rumors that this is a haunted house. And I'm just here. I'm doing my research, sir. I have my right to do my research. I'm not breaking or entering. We just heard the rumors. And the old man responds to it like, oh, what nonsense. There's no such thing as ghosts. And they seem to be, they have a discussion, but it's happening outside at the front door.
So, like, I would say, hey, there are people outside the front, so hide,
Just regular people?
maybe.
What are they talking about?
If it's just regular people, one moment. And Rita just strides to the front door
Oh.
Creature,
and opens it and puts on her most annoyed face.
You just pull open the door?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you pull open the door and you just immediately interrupt this conversation between an older man in his bathrobe, and he still has like the newspaper under his arm that he was reading in the evening, and next to him is this 20 something kind of like, I can describe his haircut as a Logan Paul wannabe haircut, and his he has this presence of just a guy who's trying really hard to come across as cool and charming. And they stop their conversation, they look at you, and the older man's like, I'm so sorry.
Are you looking for the child stamp on the door? I'm so sorry if that wasn't taken care of. Do we owe an extra donation?
No,
The Hero 555?
no, you don't need to donate. But I didn't know this was actually inhabited. The older man says, "Did they already sell it?"
I'm
And
a
the younger,
caretaker doing beforehand. This is private property. Is there something I can help you with?
the younger guy with his smartphone on on like this selfie stick, he's like turning towards you, Grietje, and he goes like, "Ma'am, are you the caretaker of this house?"
I would like you to turn that off. And I do so compellingly.
Doing some using some of your discipline there.
I'll use compel, which is my charisma dominate versus this young person's intelligence resolve.
All right. You can roll me that charisma plus dominate then. There we go. That is 3 successes.
I said I would like you to turn that off. No.
The 20-something man lowers the camera and like turns it off. Like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Look, I have this YouTube channel and I'm trying to highlight all these like interesting things that happen. And I heard there's some creepy stuff happening in this house.
Meneer, I talk to the older man. I'll calm this person down. We're sorry for the disturbance.
Yeah, miss, you should also know I saw some other people hanging out in front of your door just a little bit earlier.
Oh my goodness. Bedankte, thanks for telling me. Let me deal with this and I will get... Can I talk to you later?
Oh, yes, sure. Just drop by in the morning. We can have some coffee together.
Now, fine avond. Have a lovely evening.
Yes. Uok, you too. And he wanders off, and the younger guy is just looking at you like...
What do you mean, ghosts?
Well,
Can we hear this conversation?
The door is open at this point. You will be hearing it, but all of you would be like out of sight, like looking through the front door would not reveal any of you.
I am
We're in the
so on
shadows.
the other side of the door, like trying to listen in on anything that is supernatural. Like I am so close to the just like jumping this person, and ask them to tell me everything they know. But holding myself back.
Josette's signing into the next door for this area and seeing if she can see about this guy and like how much trouble he causes on the app. Because she doesn't believe in ghosts. So
What exactly is Josette trying to do?
Next door app where neighbors
Sorry.
talk about each other.
just where neighbors talk about each other, and she's just trying to see like how
Trying
much
to check
shit,
if
shit
all
this guy
right.
stirs up. That's it.
Yeah.
She's like this
Yeah.
this gossip.
Yeah,
She's
it's
not
good.
actually doing anything helpful for the game. Sorry.
No, but she will find out that this is still a place where people do these kind of things in Facebook groups, which is even worse. So you have to find out on the local Facebook group if you can find anything.
That's what all
Um,
my family is.
and you scroll through it real quickly, and you do find, like, for just really quickly skimming what you can find, there are some like conversation threads on that there have been people talking about strange things happening around this house, that people said that they've seen a a, a woman in white in the backyard, and that they've heard rattling from the basement door, the cellar door. But there's like all this conversation on there as well, like, yeah, it's sure it's just some kids playing pranks, and people shouldn't bother with it.
She sort of passes her phone over to Peter and Chang and goes, "Looks like La Hirona is here, the woman in white from a different country altogether, different continent, different time zone."
Now, jongen, vertel. Tell me, young man.
Well, you see, look, I'm not from around this place. Like, I mean, I grew
Yo.
up here. I grew up here, but I moved to the big city.
What is it about this ghost that's very interesting? I want to hear pertinent details. What you've seen. Why do you think these are credible?
Well, I just think, there's got to be more.
Why?
Like, because this can't be all it, right? There's got to be something that happens once we're gone.
You don't look like
And-
the kind of young man who would chase something without evidence. What evidence do you have? Tell it to me. Alsjeblieft. Please.
Well, and as he's starting to go into an explanation, all of you hear this dong sound from probably the basement. And you also see this guy with his camera who clearly heard it. And he's like, "Ma'am, I'm just going to really quick take a look around the..."
Dat mag je niet. You cannot.
And how that will end, we're going to see after our break, as we take our brief little break before we continue with the Three-City Revamp. See you in a little bit. Welcome back to Three-City Revamp here on Euphoria. Before our break, our coterie had been sent from the city of Aachen to the quaint little village of Weilen in the Netherlands to investigate a house where maybe the Prince of Maastricht is hiding. But what they found so far were noisy neighbors, wannabe influencers, and a really loud knock on the basement door. Right before our break, we had this little influencer trying to dash towards the basement door, but Grietje out at the front is trying to stop him. Grietje, how do you want to go about this?
He's actively dashing through the door. I think I have to pull on something a little stronger. And I think I'm going to have to pull out my mesmerize.
Going to mesmerize him. And what are you going to command him to do?
If I succeed, I get to make things more complicated. And above the table, do you want me to make him leave, or do you want bait?
Josette loves bait. And this guy trespassed, so he kind of deserves it at this point.
There's a following. People will notice if he's missing.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Storyteller voice. You don't know how big the following is. Maybe it's a channel of like 5 people. Who knows?
Those 5 people are the most loyal because they keep watching.
Mhm.
Charm has a thing that can make you forget.
We'll just do this the clean way. And Creature's just going to stare at this individual. This is getting very complicated. I would like you to leave here and forget you were ever here and saw me in any of this.
Before this man walks out, this guy, Josette emerges from the shadows and plucks the phone and just beep, 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 deletes the video and puts it back in.
Okay, so there's a few things happening simultaneously here then. I'd say, Hitje, if you're going to use the mesmerize first, that will require a rouse check first to see if your hunger increases.
Okay. Clicking rouse check.
And it does increase. You go to hunger 2, but you also need to make your manipulation plus dominate check to mesmerize him. That is, wow. That is 5 successes on that roll.
As I say it, I lean into him. It's like kind of wiping the edge of my mouth. It's like, I mean it. You really need to leave now and forget everything you've seen here, that you've been here. Don't make me regret telling you. Leave now. Nu ga weg. Schiet op.
He is like trapped by your gaze while you give him these instructions, which means meanwhile, Josette, you're trying to take the phone and delete from there. Can you give me this is an interesting one. I'd say this is a
Technology.
Well, it's more the question of like how nimbly and deftly can you take the phone without him
she could just turn around and do it from like she doesn't have to take it from his phone. But yeah, no.
If the dude is in the middle of getting a bit enraptured, does this help Josette?
Yeah. It's also on the selfie stick. Sorry, it's on his hand. Sorry.
Yeah. I'd say this would be in dexterity plus larceny to do this, but since Ritje is having him entranced, you'll get an additional bonus die to this.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, second.
Just making sure to clear all the evidence.
Mm-hmm. Size modifier.
Or see what other evidence he already filmed.
There we go.
There we go. That is 2 successes. And while this 20-something guy is enraptured by Ritje, you can quickly like tip, 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 delete whatever he recorded. And once you're done with that, he looks at Ritje and goes, yeah, okay, yeah. Have a good evening. And he's just pocketing all his gear and wanders away to this little Volkswagen Polo he has, steps in and starts driving off.
Doei. As I close the door and I lock it behind me and I turn around.
Bang! Another bang
what the hell?
From the basement.
With my heightened senses, do I hear? First off, is the bang hurting me? And secondly, do I hear anything else, like footsteps or whispering or
scratching? You hear as if someone's scratching against a wooden surface.
It's not just a bang. It's not just fists against stone. It's nails against wood. Something's trying to scratch its way out.
Maybe the prince, huh?
A usurper
Mm.
stuck him down here and just tried to. But then we would have seen someone try and rise up.
A creature will sort of kneel a bit down to the floor, still standing, but like, Prince, is that you? 2 for, yes, it's me, and I will give you all the money I owe you, creature.
There is no response.
Can't imagine why he didn't answer.
I'm gonna deactivate heightened senses for now. Those bangs are starting to hurt my eardrums.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should investigate the sounds, no?
Unfortunately, yes. If this is a place that Holgar directed us to, it is important to maintain the masquerade. And if other
Voila.
people get
There you go.
heard about this, it causes more trouble for me, especially
I
in my
wish-
backwoods.
I wish we knew why Holga sent us here.
Maybe to get rid of us. And that was the way it's going to happen. As creature gives a not stomp, but a firm duck with her heel on the ground, as if to talk to whoever's banging from below.
As Creature does that, Chang and Josette, both of you who have been listening to what the rest of your coterie is saying, both of you quickly just glanced in the direction of the backyard, looking through this large window past the door that Peter had shoved open. And the two of you see a woman in a white gown standing in the backyard.
I would like to sense the unseen.
You sure would like to do that. We're getting a lot of discipline action here. Sense the unseen. Yes. You can give me. Yeah, you can. Wait, is this actually? Do you have to roll for that? Hiding, plain sight makes it. Oh, I actually make a hidden roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chang,
Yes.
you attune your senses to the supernatural and you focus on that woman in the white dress and she just stares at you and you get the sense that she is not a physical presence. She is ephemeral. She is partially see-through. She is not among the living. She's just standing there, looking in your direction.
My, it's a ghost. Oh, see, this is quite good.
Chang, no, ghosts don't exist. Oi, trespasser! Josette yells at the lady.
Peter and Creature, you
You
don't
can
see
see through
anyone.
it.
We don't see anyone?
You don't see anyone. It's only Josette and Chang who seem to be responding.
Josette, you can see through it.
Sorry, but who are you talking about?
The
The
ghost.
woman.
Are you keeping up the joke from the Jungicher, from the young one?
No, there's a
Laughing.
woman.
Oh,
There's
gosh.
no one there.
Il y a une meuf dans le jardin. There's a woman in the garden.
No.
Nah.
Oh, this
uh,
is...
Josette tries to like position Pieter right where she's right. No, right there. Huh? Tu vois? You see?
I don't see anything.
Chang tries to draw the ghost.
Okay, if there is a
Into her
ghost, what does it
notes.
want?
The ghost, while you're drawing it, Chang, is just standing there, staring at you. Her gaze is exhausted. and she seems to be, her lips are moving as if she's trying to say something, but you cannot hear anything. There's no sound coming out of her mouth. And as you draw her while
Casper,
there's
the vriendelijk geest, the friendly ghost Casper. Prinsje?
and as
Was-
you look
Was
at
what is the friendly ghost?
Was this a cartoon, this movie?
No, this ghost is not doing good.
No, it's not a ghost. It's a trick of the light. Okay, I've seen plenty of tutorials online. And she starts walking out the door towards the garden and this.
How do you not
woman.
believe in ghosts if you believe that we exist?
That the two truths can be. There can be a truth and a lie at the same time.
Ju-
We're vampires. We're clearly here.
Gisette, you step out into the garden, and as you step out into the garden, you have a strange sensation for a moment. It is as if you step out from a color movie into a black and white movie. And the moment you step out into the garden, you hear the woman actually speaking. And she's speaking in Dutch, but you can understand her well enough as she says, he shouldn't be here. They should not put anything here. This is not where he is supposed to be. You're in danger. You should leave. No one is supposed to be here. Can you hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes, yes. Wait. Jitandu, I hear you. And Josette's like motioning the chunk. Come here.
I follow outside.
And as you
Super
follow, Chang, as you follow outside, you cross the threshold out into the garden, and bam, the ghost is gone. The black and white sensation is gone. And what is not gone and is actually approaching is the sound of a motorcycle approaching.
She I could hear her and all the color had drained away. Like after some
Ghost.
vampires, feed a lot, and the persons, they're all black and white, like an old movie. But she said he should not be here and we are in danger, which, I mean, when are we not?
But the Prinsje, then he is not here.
Well, someone is here.
Well, why did you get to talk to the ghost? I don't even believe in them.
Do we leave? Because more are coming. And if I have to deal with them, well, then I cannot be perhaps forgiven for my next actions, but...
The Prince Caspar could be down there trying to get out. We must go down.
Okay, you are our expert door opener. Ga maar open doen. Go open it.
So rather than trying the storm door outside, I would see if there's a basement door inside. That would more likely be unlocked.
There sure is one. As you go back in, you go into a short hallway, and there's indeed a little staircase leading down to the basement. And you see the door there, and it is not locked. You can just pull it open, and it is pitch black inside there.
Is there a light switch? Can I feel for one?
You feel around both walls, and there is indeed like a very old-fashioned light switch that you can flick on. And it's quite the sight you turn the light onto. Where the ground floor was covered in furniture with tarps and everything, this basement is empty, except for in one corner of the basement, there is more like draped over a chair, is the dead body of a person. Blood flowing from their throat. A few drops of it having pooled around them. You see that there is in another corner, there is also another corpse lying there. This one seems older. And then all the way at the end, lying on an old and dirty mattress, is a very well-dressed male person. Has completely gray-white hair, which is completely messy at this point. The suit he's wearing is also stained in dirt, in blood. There's burn marks on it. But most importantly, there's a stake through his heart. And you look at this person, and this is Prince Caspar Hoyer.
Ooh.
He's been staked.
Are you
For
down
those-
there, Lo?
For those still on the ground floor, sound of the approaching motorcycle has died down. But it seems to have parked not far from this house. You hear
Is the-
footsteps approaching.
Is the door still open? Gotcha.
It's been closed, the slot, locked even.
Tung, tung, tung. Hello? Anyone dies? Nobody home? Oh well. Footsteps walking around the house, whistling. What do you do?
Is there an upstairs?
There's also like an upstairs, yeah. There's a
Is the downstairs where Peter is the doors locked after him, or
Yep.
It's the door to the basement. It's still open. I haven't
Mm.
closed it or anything.
I go downstairs?
yeah, and you see the same thing, Chang. You see what
I-
Peter's seeing there.
I'm
Chong,
waiting.
you would have seen I've moved to the prince and knelt down on the mattress. And I don't know. I don't know what the order should be. I think my first instinct is to pull the stake out and then maybe give Prince Caspar some of my blood.
Before you do that, seeing how many figures are there? 2?
There were 2 dead bodies.
Okay, so Chang's first instinct is 2 bodies on the ground. One is probably the prince. We don't know who the other is, right?
There is one that is definitely the prince, and there's 2 corpses in the room.
2
of
drained corpses.
Drained corpses. Yes, there's been clearly some. This looks. You as vampires would know this. Both of these
Yeah.
bodies look like someone drained these bodies.
I look up, Chang, we must unstake the prince. And my hand's on the stake in his heart.
Chang is more interested. Is there still blood on the ones that are drained?
A little bit, yeah.
I want to use a taste of blood for blood.
A taste for blood. You can taste the resonance and intensity of the blood for human. Okay. Righty. Give me that resolve plus blood sorcery roll.
I can also identify if it belongs to mortal, ghoul, vampire, or other supernatural creature.
Mm.
So, figuring out what you are.
It's just one success on the roll. As you taste the blood, you
Would you, sorry, Toto, would you like to use a point of willpower to re-roll your 3 non-hunger dice that had got 1s? or not once, but that weren't successes.
Then I'm gonna reroll these.
You just can't re-roll hunger dice.
And the difficulty is still 3, right?
Yes.
Eh.
Excellent, because that was 2 successes for still a total of 3 successes. Thanks for the suggestion, Krifu, for re-rolling that. And you take a taste, and definitely mortal, definitely humans. From what you can sense, there's still the sense of panic in their blood. They're this kind of panic before their death, before being drained. Not much else that you can gather from them here, but clearly these were mortals that some vampire here drank on, and they are in this basement in a little house in the middle of a small village, just waiting to be found here.
You can tell, Peter, that Zhang's face is kind of disappointed at what she finds after tasting the blood.
He make sure you mark that 1 willpower that you spent, by the way.
Yeah, I think I already did. no.
He sort of nods and then shakes his head. And Markus, perhaps you can help me. I have 3 dots in etiquette, so I'm aware that blood binding a prince isn't the most respectful thing you should do.
Respect your elders.
Yes.
But he's been staked. I mean, it's survival.
He should be grateful I'm not diablerizing him, which I would never do, of course. But so my thinking is I will unstake him and then immediately begin speaking to him and offer him, because I'm also I'm a consensualist, so that's my plan. I'm gonna pull the stake out. And, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm totally hesitating because I'm a little freaked out. But
I can imagine.
He says, "There's this prince here. What clan is he again? Is he Ventru as well?"
Ventru,
yeah. Like Gretchen. Okay. So he pulls the stake out and immediately says, "Prince Caspar Hugo of Maastricht. I am. I come from Aachen. Peter Kuhn, child of Delara, clan Toreador. You've been staked. Do you require blood?"
While that is happening, while we see you pull out the stake out of the heart of the prince of a nearby city, upstairs, there's still footsteps walking around towards the backyard.
Yes. Is it fair to say that the stairs going up to what we in Europe would call the first level, ground floor, and then the first level, is it fair to say that when you're on the first level, you can kind of see a little bit of the ground floor?
Absolutely.
Okay, Josette does not wait. She hefts Gretchen up and goes, like the job in Dublin. And she would like to use her obfuscate powers for silence of death. So she can quietly or silently run upstairs, but holding Gretchen so that way she does not have to make noise next to her.
All right.
Fireman carry.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be however Gretchen would like, over the shoulder, like a sack of potatoes, La Pieta, Madonna,
Wrapped in the silence of obfuscation, you drag Gretchen upstairs, top of the stairs looking down, and just as you make it up there, your footsteps completely quiet. The footsteps of the person entering right now are anything but quiet. You hear the sounds of boots on the floor and still whistling, and then in a very Liégeoise kind of French, which is like this blend of Flemish and French. There's a voice saying, "Oh my, what the fuck happened here?" and the figure walks into the hallway where the stairs are looking down upon. And you see this rugged, bearded man, leather jacket, has like all these patches stitched up on the jacket, curly hair in a man bun on his back, and he's just looking around and he goes, now this is a problem. And then proceeds through the hallway towards the staircase leading down to the basement.
Of course.
Do you know him?
No. I was very excited when I saw the patches and then the man bun, and now I'm not. Do you
Both
know
of
him?
you,
Sorry.
both of you, especially Kate, you might have like.
Sorry, do
Kate
we
wouldn't-
recognize him? Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kate maybe would recognize him, but he's certainly not someone who's usually in Kate's circles. You maybe in your time you would have seen Hannes once or twice. He's part of a roaming group of Gangrel, one of the other clans that doesn't really settle down in any of the domains here, just sticking around for a little, enjoying their freedom, and is for some reason now
Dear
here
Ring, it's Hannes.
heading down to the basement.
It's not good. It's not good. We have to go to him.
Okay. So she, while still talking to Gretchen, like runs downstairs and goes, when you say talk to him, do you mean like knock him out so everyone can leave, or
Yes, this.
okay?
Likely. You seem very good at this. I think you are very good at this. You should do if you were good at this.
You know I'm good at this. Why are you pretending you don't know me?
Are you having this conversation while you're going down the stairs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Stage
Okay.
whispers.
Yeah.
You eventually, you can quickly go back down the stairs. Most of what you're doing still muffled by your silence of death, but silence of death does not completely eliminate all kinds of sound you make. Like if you're having a conversation with each other, you're still drawing attention to you. So you head down there in your stage whispers, talking with each other. And as you go down to the hallway, you see that Hannes stops and he just sniffs the air around him. He just goes.
Josette is also noticing Gretchen's perfume, and is like, oh.
And he just turns around and sees the two of you. Oh, Gretchen.
Hannes.
Since when do you like being carried around? Never took you for the type to be told where you should go.
Oh, someone has finally accepted the princess I am.
Oh, Josette drops her.
Interesting you should use that word. What are you doing here?
What am I doing outside Maastricht, where I'm based?
Exactly.
What are you doing beyond your country's borders?
We find ourselves in an interesting situation here, don't we? And while that conversation is happening, meanwhile, down in the basement, Peter, you pulled out the stake and you said your very polite and 100 etiquette correct introduction to Caspar Hoyers, the Prince of Maastricht, who's now opens his eyes, sees you, hears what you're rattling off, and just immediately his hand reaches towards your throat. But you notice that his grip is weak. Like he can barely hold on to your throat. You could just gently put the hand away if you wanted to. But you see his pupils have dilated fully. And his fangs are out as well. You have never seen Caspar Hoyers this uncomposed before. He is showing the bestial side, a side that you have never seen from him, which illustrates the direness of the situation he finds himself in. But after a moment, as he takes your words in and he realizes he's come to conscious, he says, where the fuck am I? Kuhn? Dilara's child?
Yes, sir.
Oh. What the? Where are we?
I look at Chang and then look back. A basement in Weichlen? Weichlen?
Godverdomme, Veile. God damn it, Veile. I'm so thirsty.
We need to get you out of here. Normally, I would not suggest this, but I will offer you my wrist if you need. I'm gonna turn on my presence.
You're gonna turn on your presents?
My awe. Don't forget I'm beautiful, so I don't know if that'll add anything to this.
Never forgot.
Never. There is no way I'm going to forget. Peter Kuhn is fucking hot. You're putting on your awe. All right. Oh my. Okay.
I won't necessarily, if he tries to contest it. Should I push? I should push. I'll take a leaf out of Marcus's book and push. So yes, if he does try to contest it, I will push my presence to like encourage him to drink from my wrist.
Just before you turn on your vampiric presence, you notice that when Prince Casper said that he's oh so thirsty, that hand that gripped your throat turned into like barely a caress of your throat. But the moment you turn on the awe, you see the Prince of Maastricht in his weak state pulling back his hand and looking at you as if you are very much his savior in this moment. But at the same time, you know he must be conflicted on the inside. He knows what it means to have this blood offered. But does he really have a choice? He hesitates. Chang, what are you doing in the meantime while this offer is made?
Do I hear what's going on upstairs?
You heard. Both of you would have heard this. You would have heard that there's walking above you. Like, this is an old house. You can hear in the basement and someone's walking on the ground floor. But then the footsteps stopped, and
Creature was
Chang,
dropped
Yes.
onto her feet, I think, I hope.
you would have heard that the footsteps struck, and you heard that there's conversation upstairs. So there's another person in this house. So you would be aware of that, Chang.
Can I tell by the conversation they're having who the person is?
Hard to say just by basis of conversation.
Okay. But I do hear that they are conversing.
Yeah.
So I can assume that they at least either know each other or they decided to whoever it is, they had to distract this person.
Yes.
I try to not look at whatever's happening over there
Mm-hmm.
between Peter and Prince. Like, I don't know, this feels very personal right now. And instead, I would like to use my premonition
Mm-hmm.
because something doesn't add up. Like, how did they stake the prince, but at the same time have been almost drunk dry?
It's a good question. And you turn on you tune in to your second sight, so to speak. And the moment you start pulling that up, Chang,
Yes.
we have established so far that you're a bit of a ghost enthusiast, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
As you start tuning into that, you look over towards the two corpses here, and you see behind the corpse that is draped over a chair, you see the ghost of that person just standing there and looking at you, and you hear this ghost speak. And even though this ghost is just like, 2 meters away from you, their voice sounds as if they have to scream down a long tunnel at which you are at the other end of it. And you hear it shout, like, don't let him drink. Don't let him drink.
Okay. As I said, as has been said before, I am a ghost enthusiast. And my reaction is to pull Peter away from the prince.
Okay. Now, before we move into that, there's going to be something happening between two player characters and those two players. Both of you have opposite goals here. Peter wants to feed his blood to the prince in a very opportune moment here, but Chang seems to want to withhold him from that. Before we continue with that, I want to ask the players, are you both on board with having this as a little bit of conflict between the two of you?
Yes.
Perfect. Because in that regard, we're going to make a contested roll between the two of you. Chang, in order for you to try to tear Peter away from the prince, you will have to give me a strength plus athletics roll.
Okay.
And Peter, if you want to make sure that you resist that you stay in position and able to feed the prince, I also need a strength plus athletics roll from you. And whoever has the most successes gets out of this situation with the upper hand.
Okay.
Difficulty still 2 or?
Well, in this the difficulty doesn't really matter in this case because we're comparing the number of successes you roll. You can just go set the difficulty to 1 in this case.
Okay.
We're looking at the total number of successes you're getting.
Oh no.
0 success, and that's
Did I do that right? So
well. Athletics plus strength seems to go to you have 2. We have 1 point in strength. You have nothing in athletics, so you do have only 1 dice,
Okay,
Chang. And Peter has 3 dice in total and got
He goes to
1
the gym.
goes to the gym, has 1 success. Chang, you move over there trying to pull Peter away, but it's too late.
Can I,
You,
in this situation, is the willpower roll still an option, or is this only for?
you could, but you would be spending 1 willpower to reroll 1 die. At best, you can get a tie.
But it's
out
a
of it.
hunger die.
Oh, it's just a hunger. Yeah, and you cannot reroll a hunger die.
I see.
Correct. Yes.
Sorry.
No worries.
No worries.
the
That was good.
rules.
Sorry, but I want to win.
So, Chang, you are just too late in this moment, as already Peter, you can describe how are you feeding the prince?
He, as soon as he sees, so he turns on his presence, and as a part of it, like he slides off the blazer that he's wearing, and like rolls up his cuff, and just like, and it's very much like leaning into the sort of model art posing of it all. That's part of the working of the power. And like bites into his wrist sensually, and then like holds it forward to the hesitating prince.
The prince is leaning forward to consume that offer. You barely notice how Chang is trying to pull you away. However, Upstairs, meanwhile, this conversation between Hannes, Josette, and Grietje. Hannes is about to say something as the three of you clearly hear there's movement in the basement, that something is happening there. And Hannes interrupts himself and says, look, I have business here, which I'm going to attend down there.
You have no business here. You have business away.
You're trying to compel him?
Am I? I can try to compel. Compel isn't.
Are you trying to mesmerize him?
I can just try to compel to start. I'd like to suggest, no, you should go. I mean, the gas is so expensive here. Go back and you can still make a good deal.
All right.
So I'll roll a compel.
Charisma and dominate versus his intelligence plus resolve.
I mean, Hannes, what clan was he again? Oh, Gangrel.
Gangrel. Oh. That is 7 successes, but it is a messy critical.
Oh shit.
And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. No way to beat you, but it is a messy critical. Now, in case of a messy critical, you do succeed. You do succeed well, but you succeed because your beast rises to the surface. And your success will have some complications. There's a variety of ways this can take shape. And I usually like to leave it up to the player to describe what that looks like. Let me quickly, I have to double check that, what the different outcomes of the messy critical were again. Okay, Grietje, with your messy critical, your clan's compulsion, your arrogance surfaces. You will succeed in mesmerizing Hannes, but you will do it in the most arrogant and unforgivable way possible. What does that look like?
You know what? I'm tired of having to explain or give reasonings. I'm tired of no one listening to me tonight. You are going to get the fuck out of here. You're going to take your sorry ass. You're going to go into your pothole-ridden road, and I'm not going to see you again for a very long time. Do I make myself clear? Hannes!
The gangrel, who is easily a head and a half taller than you, almost cowers in front of you. He takes a step back in his leather boots. And he follows your directions. He walks to the front door, opens it, but looks one more time back at you. You know Hannes will not forget this. He steps out, closes the door with a slam behind him. As down in the basement, Prince Caspar Hoya drinks the final sips of the blood given by Peter to him. Pupils become a little smaller. His expression on his face more relaxed. But Chang, you see that ghost again, who's now just looking at the prince, looking at Peter. The ghost shaking his head. As whatever has unfolded here on the ground floor, in the basement, on whatever scale, might just be the beginning of a rather large revamp of this area. And that's where we end our first session of Three-City Revamp. Well.
Cool.
We are off to a start. And this is just the beginning of our story. Thank you very much for joining us on this very first session. My name is Markus, pronouns he, him. I am the storyteller of this group, and I will be so for the coming sessions as well. You can find me on all socials as The Chindividual, and also on YouTube, where I, at this moment, mostly create Pathfinder 2e videos. But hey, maybe I should do more vampire stuff. This stuff is fun. Let's hand it over to Toto. Hello, Toto.
Hi, I am Toto. My pronouns are she, they. You can find me on most socials under Totoroki or Totoroki pins. I have abandoned X, formerly known as Twitter, so if you find me there, I will most likely not react to anything you say or tag me in. Um, I currently am in the midst of organizing the pin convention that is a yearly pop up shop in Hamburg that also has an online store. You can find it on Instagram under Pin Convention. And yeah, I will be playing Chang for the next few sessions in this very intriguing game of Vampire the Masquerade.
Glad to have you aboard. Jen, where can we find you?
Hello, you can find me at the Thejenya, Thejenya, on most places on the internet. You can also find my comics, TTRPGs that I've designed, and video games I've worked on at Haunted Vault Studios, where I'm a freelance cartoonist and game designer. And yes, I have had a lovely first time here playing Josette. And I hope you all had a great month of October.
Fantastic. Krifu.
Hi, yes, you can find me on all socials at Krifu Bernal, where I'll be posting about some cool stuff. I am the GM for a newly launched Pathfinder 2e podcast, the Tumble Through podcast. Tumble through. Yeah, we've got a few tumblers here. And we release episodes weekly on Tuesdays. And also in celebration of vampire season, I will be streaming and recording a playthrough of the solo adventure Der Vampir von Havana in the Dark Eye system. It'll be in German, so if you don't know German, you can come by, you could practice at the very least.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'll be doing. Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be on the player side of a vampire game.
Glad to have you. And last but certainly not least, Aida.
Hi, I've been Aida, and it's been a blast. It's been a long time since I played Vampire, so I'm grateful for the opportunity to do it again. You can find me on the internet as Aida in the pan, like a piece of bread, or a cooking pan, or Peter
The god.
Pan the God, Pantheon, all sorts of pans. I'm one half of Eutopia, one of the founders here, and we are all about uplifting cool and diverse tables of European-based creatives. This table is all European made. All European made means a mix of all genders, including marginalized ones, a mix of ethnicities, immigrant statuses, a mix of languages. This is what a European table looks like. Get used to it. You can find me at the end of November at Dragon Meet, which will be a TTRPG convention in London. I'll also definitely be hanging out at the POC Lounge and doing a live game, networking, handing out business cards, and having a good time. Come find me. Let's take selfies.
Fantastic. Once again, thanks everyone for playing today. Thanks everyone for coming along for the ride, and see you next time on Three-City Revamp.
Bye.
Goodbye.